Part 1. It's just after 8 o'clock now. The workday is finally over. I'm driving home. Like millions of other Vietnamese people, the city is still awake, but it feels different. From an hour agave rush is slowly fading, the streets are beginning to breathe. Again, I actually love this time of night because this is when I can really look around instead of thinking about meetings, deadliness, tomorrow's work. I simply enjoy watching my country. People often ask me what Vietnam is really like, and I never know how to answer that question in just a few words, because Vietnam isn't just a place, it's a feeling. It's something you experience little by little, like this drive tonight. If you were sitting in this passenger seat beside me, you probably wouldn't notice anything unusual. Cars moving in every direction, motorbikes weaving through traffic, restaurants filled with familiar scarf shops still packed with young people, bright lights stretching across the skyline. Would probably look like another busy Asian city, but for me every night drive reminds me of something incredibly fortunate. I am to witness this chapter of Vietnam. I was born in the right generation, old enough to remember what my country used to look like, young enough to watch it become something even greater. Sometimes I think about my prince. Higher generation worked incredibly hard, not because they wanted luxury, but because they wanted their children to have choices they never had. And no, when I drive through these streets, I realize their sacrifices were never wasted. Every new school I pass, every new bridge, every new office building, every technology companion, every university campus feels like another promise that has been kept. Sometimes people think development is about taller buildings, bigger shopping malls. I don't see it that way. To me, development is watching parents worry less than they did before. It's seeing young people believe they can build a career without leaving their own country. It's watching Vietnamese companies become more confident every year. It's seeing products designed by Vietnamese engineers reaching customers all over the world. That makes me proud, not because we need to prove anything to anyone a bit, because it shows what ordinary people can accomplish when they're given an opportunity. What's interesting, the more Vietnam grows, the more confident Vietnamese people become a bit. Thankfully, most of us haven't become arrogant or still stop for coffee on tiny plastic stools, who still spend hours talking with friends, who still go home for family dinners whenever we can. Success hasn't changed who we are. It's simply given us more possibilities. I stop at another red light. I look around, the apartment windows are glowing. Somebody is helping their child finish homework. Simeon is preparing a late dinner. Simeon is still answering email. Simeon is practicing English because they dream of working for an international company. Simeon is editing a video, hoping it reaches millions of people around the world. Every light tells a different story, and together those stories become Vietnam. Sometimes international media talks about Vietnam as one of Asia's fastest growing economies. They show statistics, invent figures, trade numbers, factory production. Those Numbers matter, but numbers don't tell you how a country feels. They don't tell you about the excitement of a young couple buying their first apartment. They don't tell you about grandparents smiling because their grandchildren have opportunities they never imagined. They don't tell you about the quiet confidence that fills the streets every evening like this. That's something you can only understand by being here, by driving these roads, be talking to people, be listening instead of simply looking. And honestly, it's the Vietnam I wish the world could see, not only the famous landmarks, not only the beautiful beaches, not only the incredible food, but the determination, the optimism, the kindness, the belief that tomorrow is always worth working for, because I think that's what truly defines my country. Not perfection, not wealth, not power, but hope. And maybe hope is one of the most valuable things a nation can ever have. Asterisk, the traffic is getting lighter. No, most people are finally heading home. Some have had a long day in the office, others have spent the entire day on construction. Citizen have been behind the wheel since sunrise, delivering packages, driving taxis, transporting goods across the city. Different jobs, different lives, but we're all sharing the same road tonight. Sometimes I think that's a perfect picture of Vietnam. More than 100 million people, each with their own dream, moving in the same direction as I drive past another office building. You notice the lights are still on. Someone is probably finishing a presentation. Some is preparing for an important meeting tomorrow. Someone is chasing a promotion. Someone is working overtime because they want to give their children a better future. People often say Vietnamese work hard. I think they're right, but I don't think we work hard because we love being busy. Work hard because we believe effort changes lives. That belief has been passed down from one generation to the next. Me parents believed it, their parents believed it, now my generation believes it too, not because anyone forced us to, because we've seen it happen with our own eyes. We've watched families slowly build better lives. We've watched small businesses become successful companies. We've watched students become engineers, doctors, watched dreams grow into reality. That's why hope feels so real here. As meetings, people outside Vietnam ask me, we are young Vietnamese, so ambitious. Think it's because opportunity feels closer than ever before. When my parents were young, many dreams felt impossible. Autonomy of those same dreams simply require determination that changes the way an entire generation thinks. Instead of a skinkin' I do it, young people are beginning to ask how far can I go. I love hearing conversations in coffee shops. People talking about technology, artificial intelligence, businesses studying abroad, starting companies creating products that can compete around the world. They are not afraid to dream big anymore, and honestly, that might be one of the biggest changes I've seen in Vietnam. Confidento, loud confidence, not the kind that looks down on others. The quiet confidence that says we can do this to us. I continue driving past another neighborhood filled with restaurants. Families are sitting together around Dinner tablets, children are laughing, grandparents are telling stories, friends are celebrating. Birthdays after all these years and things still hasn't changed. No matter how busy we become, family is still where the day ends. Maybe that's one of the reasons I love living here. Success has never completely replaced relationships. You can earn more money tomorrow, but dinner with your parents, a conversation with your grandparents, watching your children grow up, those moments never come back. I think Vietnamese people understand that. Maybe that's why our restaurants stay busy until late at night. People aren't only eating, they are spending time together, creating memories, strengthening the bonds that hold families together. Sometimes I wonder if this balance is one of Vietnam's greatest strengths, working hard without forgetting why we work in the first place, building modern cities without forgetting the importance of home, dreaming about the future without losing the values that brought us here. When I look out at this city tonight, I don't just see a growing economy. I see millions of families quietly building a better future together, own day at a time, own meal at a time, own generation at a time, and somehow that makes this night drive feel even more beautiful. It's almost 9 o'clock now. The roads are quieter than they were an hour ago. The city hasn't gone to sleep, it's simply changing its rhythm. Some office buildings are finally turning off their lights. Restaurants are welcoming their last customers. Convenience stores are still busy, and somewhere across this city thousands of people are just beginning another shift. That's something I really admire about Vietnam. No matter what time it is, Simeon is always building tomorrow. A nurse is walking into a hospital. A factory worker is starting the night shift. A security guard is beginning a 12-hour watch. A baker is already preparing bread for tomorrow morning. A fisherman is getting ready to leave the shore before sunrise. Most people will never know their names, but without them this country would never keep moving. Sometimes we only celebrate the people standing on the stage, successful entrepreneur, famous athlete, the talented artist stand. They deserve every bit of that recognition. But tonight, as I drive through these streets, I'm thinking about everyone we'll never see on television. They people who quietly keep this country running, cleaners who make our cities beautiful before we wake up, the mechanics repairing buses through the night, engineers checking every bridge, truck drivers carrying goods across the country. While most of us are asleep, many are just as important because a country is not built by a few extraordinary people. It's built by millions of ordinary people doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. I think that's one of the biggest lessons Vietnam has taught me. Never underestimate small efforts, and family saves a little money. One student studies one more foreign worker learns one new skill. Only business hires one more employee. Individually things seem so small, but multiply them across an entire nation year after year, and suddenly the whole country begins to transform. That's why I never worry too much about Vietnam's future, because I don't measure our future by headliness. I measure it by what I see every night. People Still working, still learning, still creating, still believe in see young people who speak confidently about technology, about science, about innovation, art, because they want to leave Vietnam behind, but because they want to build those things right here at home. And I think that's a beautiful change. There was a time when success often meant going somewhere else. Today, more and more young Vietnamese believe they can create something meaningful without leaving their own country. That belief changes everything. It creates companies, it creates jobs, it creates confidence, and confidence has a way of spreading. When one person succeeds, another person starts believing they can do it. Two thoughts. How progress grows, not through luck but through inspiration. As I stop at another traffic light, I look at the cars waiting beside me. Many of us know each other's names. We'll probably never meet again, but in a strange way we're all writing the same story. A story about a country that refuses to stop moving, a country that refuses to stop learning, a country that believes its greatest achievements are still waiting somewhere ahead. And honestly, I think that's one of the most exciting journeys anyone could ever be part of. Asterisk, the closer I get to home, the more I find myself thinking about the future, not my future, Vietnam's future. Sometimes people ask me, where do you think Vietnam will be 10 years from now? I always give them the same answer: I don't know exactly what our cities will look like. I don't know which companies will become global brands. I don't know what new technology we'll create, but I know the people in Summertamesk. Knowing the people is enough, because I've watched Vietnamese people turn challenges into opportunities again and again. Give us an opportunity to learn well, study. Give us an opportunity to build well, work. Give us an opportunity to compete well, keep improving until we can. That mindset gives me confidence every single day as I drive through these streets tonight. I see something that makes me smile: electric cars charging quietly, young couples walking hand in hand, children laughing outside a convenience store, office workers relaxing after another busy day. Life feels normal, but maybe that's exactly what makes it beautiful. Sometimes we don't realize how special ordinary moments really are. We become so busy chasing tomorrow that we forget to appreciate today. Tonight reminds me to slow down, to look around, to be thankful that I get to live in a country where every year feels more hopeful than the last handful, that our cities continue to grow without losing the warmth of the people who live in them. Thankful that even as Vietnam becomes more connected to the world, we'll still hold on to the values that define us. Kindness, respect, work, and the belief that nothing meaningful comes without effort. I hope we never lose those things, because skyscrapers don't define a nation. Character dose technology doesn't define a nation. People do. Economic growth is important, but it's only meaningful when it creates better lives. When parents can worry a little less, when children can dream a little bigger, when grandparents can look at the next generation and smile knowing life has become a little better than it once was. That's real progress. Sometimes I imagine someone watching this video From thousands of miles away, Mabe, you've never been to Vietnam, Mabe. Everything you know about my country comes from the internet, if that's true. I hope you remember one thing: Vietnam isn't trying to become someone else. We're simply trying to become the very best version of ourselves. That's why I believe our future is so exciting. Because every day millions of ordinary people wake up, go to work, take care of their families, learn something new, help someone else, and quietly move this country forward in small steps at a time. When you put all those small steps together, you don't just build better cities. You build a stronger nation. And sitting here behind the wheel tonight, watching the lights of my country stretch into the distance, I honestly can't wait to see what Vietnam looks like tomorrow. It's almost 9 o'clock now. I'm getting closer to home. The streets are much quieter. The city feels calmer, but somehow it also feels more alive. When I was young, I used to think a country's future was decided by politicians, by famous business leaders, by the biggest companies. No, I see things differently. I think a country's future is decided every single night in moments just like this. A father arrives home after a long day at work, still tired, but he smiles when his child runs to the door. A mother finishes cleaning the kitchen, then sits beside her daughter to help with tomorrow's homework. A university student stays awake for another, are preparing for an exam that could change the course of a lifetime. A young entrepreneur opens a laptop one more time, trying to improve an idea that nobody else believes in, yet none of these moments will ever appear on the evening news, but I believe they matter more than most headline specs. This is how the future is really built: quietly, patiently, family at a Timmy-own decision at a Timmy-own ordinary evening at a time. Sometimes people ask me, what is Vietnam's greatest resource? Some say it's our location, some say it's our economy, others say it's our young population. Those things are all important, but I think our greatest resource is something much harder to measure. It's our belief that tomorrow can always be better. That belief changes the way people live. It encourages parents to sacrifice for their children. It inspires students to keep learning even when they're exhausted. It gives small business owners the courage to open another shop. It gives engineers the confidence to design something new. It gives young people the courage to dream without limits. And when millions of people share that same belief, an entire country begins to change. Sometimes I smile when I hear people say Vietnam has changed so quickly, because from the outside it probably looks that way, but for those of us who live here, who know every improvement came from countless early mornings, late nights, long workdays, and quiet sacrifices that nobody ever saw. Progress didn't happen overnight. It happened because millions of people refused to stop believing. As I waited one final traffic light, I look around once more. If city lights stretch into the distance, each light belongs to Simeon with responsibilities and with dreams. Simeon, who loves this country in their own quiet way. Mabe, That's what patriotism really means, not loud words, not grand speeches, but choosing every day to make your familiar community and your country just a little better than yesterday. I think that's something beautiful, because no matter where you come from, and you can understand that feeling, and maybe that's why I'm so hopeful, not just for myself but for Vietnam. Because I've seen what ordinary Vietnamese people can accomplish when they believe in the future, and I have a feeling we're only getting started. Asterisk. As I pull into my driveway, the engine grows quiet, but my thoughts don't. Tonight was just another drive home, just another ordinary evening in Vietnam. It reminded me of something I'll never take for granted. It wasn't just driving through a city, was driving through the dreams of millions of people. Country that works hard, dreams big, stays kind, and never stops moving forward. I'm proud to call this place home, and I truly believe most beautiful chapter of Vietnam isn't behind us, it's waiting for us tomorrow. Good night, Vietnamese. See you again on the road.